You probably recall several weeks ago when we started talking about task paralysis, and we talked about fear-based task paralysis because fear can get in your head and whisper in your ear, "What if I fail? What if I look like a loser? What if I look stupid? What if I lose?" And then we talked about that causing us to stop doing what we're supposed to do. And we talked about having courage isn't necessarily the absence of fear, but it's moving forward in the present situation uh, when there's good reason to be afraid, right? So courage is doing what you got to do, even though you're afraid, right? It's not the absence of fear. So tonight, um, I want to we're going to move on to another cause that I think can easily grow out of fear, and that's double-mindedness and indecision. And this is the second of our 11 subtopics for task paralysis. And so you'll recall that we said task paralysis is the inability to begin something or continue or complete a task, even when you know it's very important, and even when you really want to do it. You just don't have the ability to get it done. You stop working on it. And so tonight I want to look at double-mindedness. And I also want to say I know that sometimes it's not double-mindedness. We simply do need more information in order to move forward. So what I'm speaking about tonight isn't about needing more information. I'm talking about a divided heart, if you will, that causes task paralysis. So in the book of James, James, in my opinion, is one of the most Jewish books of the New Testament, if not the most Jewish book, in my opinion. But he says in James chapter 1, verses 5 through 8, he says, "But if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of Adonai, who gives to all generously and without reproach, and it will be given to him. But he must ask in faith, without any doubting. For the one who doubts is like the surf of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. For that person ought to not to expect that he will receive anything from Adonai, being a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways." So I rely on the wisdom of that verse because, in my opinion, it has far-reaching application into my own life and how I've acted and reacted over the years. Now, I don't believe he wrote that as a lesson in productivity. It is more about faith and divided loyalty, because what he's talking about here is people ask Adonai for wisdom, but then they don't actually believe he's going to give it to them. So to be upfront about today's discussion, yes, sometimes we need more information before we can choose a course of action, but sometimes we get stuck and we have task paralysis because of loyalty, and loyalty to yourself is divided. So I'll try to explain a little bit more of that. Oops, let me go back one. Sorry about that. So in James's writing, I don't think he's saying things like, which job should I take? Or like in my case, which language should I learn? Should I learn Spanish? Should I continue on Hebrew? Should I learn Chinese? Or which exercise track should I be on? Should I work chest and triceps, back and biceps, legs and shoulders? Which business should I start? Should I be an Amway salesman? Should I start a restaurant? Whatever the case is, it's not that. I think his concern is divided faith. And then this is important because I don't ever want to misuse scripture. And you heard me say a few weeks ago, I can do all things through some random verse taken out of context. So where it parallels with what we're trying to do is, even though James is speaking spiritually, I believe his observation, it reveals an important principle. A divided heart produces unstable actions. When our loyalties compete with each other, our actions will stop. And that's when we get stuck. And that was the case for me. It has been for me in the past. I just didn't know which way to go. I didn't want to let go of a competing desire. And here's where I said I was going to give you some examples. I know I need to forgive this person, but I still want revenge. So I don't do anything. I know I should apologize, but that's going to make me look weak. And I don't want to look weak. I want to be in good shape and have big muscles and be shredded, but I also want to drink Dr. Pepper and eat Butterfinger candy bars. I want to have a successful business, but I want to have it right now. I don't want to have it in 10 years when I've put in all the work and put in all my efforts to make it successful. I want it right now, and I don't want to have to do anything for it. So I don't do anything. I want to be out of debt, and I want to have a comfortable financial situation in my life, but I also want to eat out in restaurants all the time, and I want to buy cigarettes, or I want to buy alcohol, and I want to go to the casino and gamble. I really want to repair this relationship, but I hate hard confrontational conversations, so that's not happening, right? That is double-mindedness that creates task paralysis. And that's what I was focusing on. And so here's the watchman's test. Ask yourself, am I in a situation where I need more wisdom or more information? Or has Adonai already made the right course clear for me? Am I resisting his obedience? Or do I truly need more before I make this decision? Do I already know what's right and I just don't want to do it? Those are diagnostic questions right there for double-mindedness that causes task paralysis. And so here's the challenge. You see me post on the Mighty Network several times for the past couple of weeks. Do one hard thing before lunch. So I really want you to consider that if you can, especially the one hard thing when you know it's clearly the right thing to do. And as leaders of our homes and our communities, our workplaces and our fellowship halls, in my personal opinion, it's kind of what honor and obedience demands. And that is task paralysis due to double-mindedness. And really that's what I wanted to present tonight. And so I will kill the slides and go on mute and let you guys talk about it. I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts about it.
Well, you rang my bell, JD. I'm not being sarcastic. You did ring some bells.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it wasn't meant to warn anybody. This is all stuff I chose from my own life. So
it's all pretty general too. So I mean, it can be.
So if it hurts your feelings, man, I don't care. Anybody got anything? Or you got a situation where you maybe overcame it? That would be great. Really helpful.
Mine is the loyalty thing, like working for, I can either, like I got people like my owners depend on me, but I kind of got to look out for myself. So I'm actively I realized that I've wanted to own my own tattoo business, and then the economy's changing. So I am kind of balancing the information, like, is Lawton dying or is it getting better? So do I want to invest, or do I want to like keep working for my people that I'm loyal to? Or so what I'm working on it, but what I've chose to do is I'm looking at other options like part-time job that can actually lead, like jobs that lead to advancements and full-time jobs. So that's one that I'm kind of struggling with, but actively making steps to overcome those. So a lot of that really, really resonated. So that's kind of
pretty cool.
The part about whether it's true patience or needed more information. That's something I can use prayer on too still. So it's good stuff. Man.
Yeah. So two topics of task paralysis. Number one, we're scared to get started because how we look silly. We'll feel silly. People will think I'm weak, whatever. So I'm afraid of that. And then this divided loyalty. I want to be skinny, but I want to drink Dr. Pepper. I want to be debt free, but I want to buy lottery tickets. Right? That's really all I had, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I will turn this into a video once again and put it on the Mighty Network under leadership training. You can refer back to it, and hopefully it would help somebody in the future. And then next week, we'll move on to the third topic of task paralysis.
Man.
Thanks, guys. Always forward.
All those for.
Always forward.
Always forward.